Okay, y'all. So now let's get into some drag race news where Willem is out here spilling tea. She recently did an interview with Lady Gaga. Hold on a second if I could pull that up. Um Damn it. I wish I would have. Where am I going? TikTok. I was like, where we going? We going to the TikTok? Wait, the first thing I see popping up is T.S. Madison, them boobs. So hold on, where is the search? Let's look up Willem. I think this might be the same interview that she ended up doing. Yeah, I'm glad that was the first thing that popped up. So, hold on. So now we're gonna play this clip because I was like, yeah, I want to show y'all this in case y'all have not seen it. Where she was talking about RuPaul and why I guess they had they fall out. I know everybody was saying like, and I've had people jump in my line saying like, she always trying to latch on the whole RuPaul drag race. She wasn't nobody before the show. And I'm like, first of all, y'all are bugging because I used to watch Willem on a lot of TV shows, Boston Public. She was on Nip Tuck. She was on a lot of shows before I knew her on RuPaul's Drag Race. There was a lot of the girls that were on other shows before they got on Drag Race, just like Raja was on America's Next Top Model working behind the scenes before she went on as a drag queen and ended up winning her season. So Willem has been out here doing little things, but RuPaul's Drag Race, yes, that is like we could say was her big breakout because she's more known for that than on her previous stuff, especially when she had to remind all of us all the shows that she's been on and all the actors that she worked with, which rubbed a lot of people from that show the wrong way. So I basically knew Willem from a lot of those other shows in the past where she was definitely giving you messy man in a dress. So let's play this clip of her talking about why she and Rue don't get along. Please hold.
Yes, I can. If you had RuPaul in a room, just the two of you, what would you say to her? I would ask her if she went to visit her friend Matthew yet, because I know she hasn't seen him in a while. He used to do her hair and her makeup and her photography, her retouching, basically everything except make the outfits. And Matthew is not on set anymore, and he's not able to work. And the good people at World of Wonder are nice enough to foot the bill for his care, but nobody goes to visit him, which is weird, other than me. I see the sign-out sheet. So yeah, I would ask her if she visited Matthew recently, because she always credits her crossing over and finally making it to the fact that she adopted this big blonde supermodel persona at the time, and the person that put that on her was a gentleman named Matthew Anderson, who's amazing. If you don't know who Matthew is and you're hearing about him for the first time now, look him up. He did the little dot on Janet in the Gonna Make video. He's done so many legendary looks. A lot of the top model looks that everybody grew up seeing with Raja doing. Raja was there because Matthew. The pink eyebrow, no doubt Gwen Stefani phase, ex-girlfriend, that was Matthew. He's done so many iconic looks. So check him out. They're gonna assassinate you. You can't say that. Just
Yeah, so I just wanted to play y'all that clip or whatever the case was, just that way I could see. And yeah, I was like aware of Matthew Anderson. I never had the pleasure of meeting him, but I remember when I lived in LA, there was it's not really a long story, but there was this house in Silver Lake. The front part of the house was a vintage shop. A homosexual couple owned it. Oh, I guess one of them. I don't really know, um but in the back part of the store, which I don't think they were supposed to be renting it out, I actually rented out a space in because they had houses and stuff out there. So I didn't live in an apartment when I lived in LA. I lived in an actual house and was renting out a part of the house, the back part of the vintage shop. And Matthew, from the stories they would tell me, and then on like over the weekend, I think like on Friday specifically, they would do like little some people would come there and do stand up. That's where I met oh my god, the trans girl that played Pinhead in the Hellraiser remake. They also knew Daniel Franzese. So I was like, I was meeting all of them when they was up when they had like that when they had little events and stuff there. So Matthew would actually come to that vintage shop, and I think that was around the time when his brain was, going off the rails, because apparently he had. I don't want to get too specific in what the issue is because I don't know if it's my place to even be telling me that, but I heard the tea on what caused his mental decline and why he started getting sick, and now he's in hospice care. So a lot of that was happening, and then World of One apparently was paying for it. Willem was getting upset because it was like, if this man helped you put your ass on the map and gave you the whole supermodel glam look, because girl, you was out here looking like, you was doing gender fuck drag. That was the kind of drag that Rue was doing, where she out here skinny, natty wigs, looking like literally giving prostitution whore with her look. You already know, like, if you look over the years, the star booty, the hooker look and stuff, that was RuPaul's kind of aesthetic. And then when he wanted to cross over the mainstream, he started doing all the glam stuff. So what basically is Willem is telling you is that Matthew had a hand in trying to help her get that look. The minute she pulled that look together, and then started working with Michael T, who's still around making fabulous music, by the way, that's when all of that spun off, and Rue became the big superstar that he is today. We can get into the highs and the lows. We ain't here for that, but for the most part, it's like, yes, Matthew Anderson had a hand for many years or decades, I should say, for Rue's look. And even at one point was the person that was putting her together on RuPaul's Drag Race until he got too sick to do the job. And that's when they brought in Delta Work. That's when they had Raven. And we already know the story about Delta Work and no longer being a part of that show or working behind the scenes. And so then now Rue's look is a little more, Well, who better to have somebody making a black woman look like a black woman than somebody like Raven, especially with all that damn tanner she be wearing. So, Willem has a gripe with Rue. Even at one point, them two having a shouting match and saying F you, no F you, all that stuff, because Willem confronted her on why didn't you go and visit Matthew? Like, you should go visit. I was like, child, this is where I got to stay out of grown people business. But I guess she felt like, you know what, that's supposed to be your friend. This person helped you out in so many ways. But child, let me tell you, somebody told me something that Rue said, and this was what makes me like, I would never want to meet her. They always say, don't never meet your heroes. Somebody who is very close to her, and I have a lot of friends. Like, I know Lady Bunny. I'm friends with another friend of mine, DJ Tennessee, who worked very close with Rue back in the day. I know I should not be spilling names, but I don't even think they care. And also, there was another friend of mine who was a DJ who used to work with like Harmonica Sunbeam, a lot of other people within the clubs. And who was also, shout out to Harmonica Sunbeam, that's another friend of mine. And it's funny how she was the very first queen that I came across when I first started going to gay clubs in New York. And she was the very drag queen I encountered. And then we just became good friends after, years later, especially like when we ran into each other at the Big Apple Circus. And she was there doing she was emceeing or something or other. But anyway, so he told me that she had said, I can't wait until I become famous so I can get me some better friends. That was something that came out of Rue's mouth. Allegedly. I'm putting alleged, but that was something. When they told me that, I was like, oh no, I'm done. I was like, I would never want to meet that bitch. Now, I will watch RuPaul Drag Race because it's entertaining. But now that I know some of the stuff that people have told me, I was like, I don't trust her. I don't put nothing past that lady. And especially where, they've said certain things where y'all can't even speak when spoken to behind the scenes. Don't look at her, all that stuff. I said, oh, now was she the homosexual drag queen equivalent of Jennifer Lopez? Like, I can't look at you? Okay. So I know that was a little long-winded thing for us to get to the part with the Willem, but for some reason I was getting my nostalgic mode, and I was like, look, this is a show where we spill tea. Let me spill the tea. So now let's get into the story. So besides all of that, what y'all got from Miss Willem, she basically is speaking out about Lady Gaga when she did A Star Is Born with Shangela, and said that they were going to cut their scene, the drag queen scene, and it's because Allie worked as a performer at a drag bar, and where she basically was first watched by Jackson, played by Bradley Cooper. Now in the scene, they say Allie interacts with the bar's drag performers, played by Drag Race alumni Willem and Chandler. So I think what they want to do is, he comes to the drag bar to check her out. You can see the drag queens as like, I guess, background fodder, but we're not going to show them backstage where they're interacting with each other. And they were going to cut the scene where they were interacting. And apparently, according to Willem, they said Gaga basically was like, oh no, we're not going to cut the scene from that. So now, speaking of Daily Mail about her career, Willem recalled, she said, in A Star Is Born, we all got cast, and then we did the hair and makeup test, and wait, hold on. Probably play that. Let me see if I can play that clip because I actually came across it. Oh wait, no, that we can't play that because that's like 14 minutes. So I'm just gonna have to read it to y'all. Because if y'all want to see the whole clip or whatever, you can go on YouTube and check it out. Daily Mail Entertainment, basically, they have the whole YouTube video up there. So then they also said, she said, I was at Tom Daly's wedding to Dustin Lance Black, and between the rehearsal dinner and the ceremony, I got a text saying, terrible, terrible news. All your scenes have been cut. Willa recalled the difficulty of trying to enjoy Daly and Black's wedding after learning that she wouldn't be in the film, having already told her loved ones about the role. And that's always the worst thing if you're an actor, where you're telling people, "Oh, I just got this part. I'm going to be in this movie. I got to act alongside Lady Gaga." And then when you go to the movies, the damn scenes is cut. Oh, I would be so tight. But that's what happens, unfortunately, when you're an artist or an actor in this business. You're always at the mercy of these filmmakers, and then you can end up with your scenes cut. So she said a week later, they called and checked my availability, and they said, okay, it's back in because Lady Gaga fought for our inclusion of the drag queens in the movie. Thanks, Gaga. We love you. This is what Willem added. Now, Mother Monster fans are raving about her show, are raving about her show of true LGBTQ allyship, saying Gaga could have stayed silent and wouldn't have been taken against her and could have blamed the producers, but she didn't. She fought behind the scenes. That's a true gay icon there, she wrote. Or one wrote. Another person wrote, love hearing about Gaga fighting for the drag queens to stay in the movie. That's an ally. Now, Gaga's been an advocate, as y'all know, for the LGBTQ plus community since the beginning of her career. Back in 2009, she refused to deny rumors that she had a penis, saying, why the hell, wasn't that around the time that, what's his name? Anderson Cooper asked her that? And it's funny how it's like, okay, you got the homosexual up in here asking a cisgendered woman whether or not she got a dick. Or she was a hermaphrodite or something, because I think that's what they was implying. She said, why the hell am I going to waste my time and give a press release about whether or not I have a penis? My fans don't care, neither do I. Oh, yeah, so it was Anderson Cooper. She went on to release, as you know, Born This Way in 2011, which is basically Express Yourself Part 2, which became the first song to mention trans people to the top of the Billboard chart in the U.S. No matter gay, straight, or bi. As she would say. What's the other part of it? It's a no matter black, white, or beige, and the Orient age, I was born to be brave with the transgender life. You know how that damn song go. So, it's no matter gay, straight, or bi, lesbian, transgender life, right? I don't know. It just all of a sudden it came to me in my head. But anyway, besides all of that, you know what? I love our allies. Say what you want about Lady Gaga, and believe me, I have. But, I'm here for when the allies come and really show support, because it is true. Lady Gaga did not have to come out and fight for the gays and the drag queens to be included in the thing. It's just like, drag queens exist. Cisgender women like a Lady Gaga who have great, great voices. A lot of them perform in queer spaces. Before, I think, if I'm not mistaken, before she was even famous, Bette Midler was performing in gay bathhouses. So there is that sense of that. And if people are going to get mad, that is like, oh, you're seeing this in a film. I just don't understand why that's a big deal. Why can't we show diverse situations in movies? Because, excuse me, you worried about a small percentage of people getting upset because they're being exposed to something that they're not used to being exposed to. Oh, well, if you have a problem with it, don't go see the damn movie. But that movie ended up being a hit anyway. So, and I'm thinking it's probably because a lot of the homosexuals ended up coming to seeing A Star is Born, which has been remade like 8,000 times in theaters. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story in regards to what Willem had to say about Lady Gaga coming to the defense of the drag queens? Because, yeah, at one point they were going to cut out their scenes. And that's the worst feeling to have. But luckily, it didn't happen. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below.